This is Kenny Aronoff from Los Angeles, and I'm on tour in Italy with Supersonic Blues Machine featuring the great Billy Gibbons. And you're watching and listening to LINEA ROCK. Pay attention.
Rock.
LINEA ROCK. LINEA ROCK. I'm fucking deaf, man. LINEA ROCK. Will you speak soft? Come over here, I'm gonna beat you in the face. LINEA ROCK.
Welcome, Kenny, to Milan, and welcome to LINEA ROCK.
Thank you.
Good to have you here.
It's good to be here.
Okay, so you've done a lot of things in your career. You recorded like 1,000 albums and so on.
300 million record sales.
Okay, not bad.
Not bad.
But so you're here touring with Supersonic Blues Machine. How different is it? This, you know, I don't know if I can call it band, project, musical collective, or whatever. How is it different than anything you've done before?
The biggest difference with playing with Supersonic Blues Machine is I get to play with Billy Gibbons. And I have before in different situations, but not like on tour. And that's big. You know, I've played with Fab and Alessandro and Serge I haven't played with. But the big thing is you know, getting to play with Billy Gibbons every night is the most different. The things I play on the drum set, and the styles of music I'm playing, you know, I've done it before. I recorded with B.B. King, and I played with Buddy Guy, and I played with Ray Charles. In the blues, Bonnie Raitt. So I've done blues.
Yeah.
Greg Allman, I did the last Greg, before he died, I did his tribute. I mean, the Allman Brothers were a blues-based band. So I recorded with the Stones, you know. So blues is not new to me. And I grew up playing jazz. So, it's taking everything, excuse me,
no problem.
This is time to wake up. It's taking everything I already know and I get to use it on stage with Supersonic Blues Machine.
Is it true that for a drummer, the blues is a relaxing genre? What would you say?
I don't usually relax too much. I'm the driving force behind everything, even when I play soft.
Okay.
Because I told John Fogerty that if he wants me, I can play softer and still kick his ass. Have you ever seen somebody get their ass kicked softly?
Okay, and so you are now considered one of the best rock drummers ever, and as we said, you work with everybody. What if you didn't react like you did in the early days with John Mellencamp, when the producer wanted to fire you right before you had to record the album? Did you ever ask yourself, what if, you know, I didn't?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have asked myself, what if I didn't react to John Mellencamp? And for the viewers, if you don't know, I mean, I had this huge classical studied for 5 years and got into a symphony orchestra, and I turned it down. Everybody was in shock, including me, because I wanted to go back to my original roots, was to play rock and roll. I saw the Beatles on TV when I was 11, and I said that's what I want to do, and I wanted my mom to call them up and get me the job, but she didn't have their number. So I started my own band, and I played Beatles music. But my point is, I went back to rock and roll, and when I eventually got in the John Mellencamp band, I thought I had made it. I was so pumped, and we were going to go make a record in LA. That record you're talking about.
Yeah.
5 weeks later, I tell everybody. After 2 days, John pulls me we have a meeting, and he says, I thought he fired me, but it was the producer, Steve Cropper. So, as you know the story, he told me, you're not playing on the record. And as he told me, you go home, I went, no fucking way. And the rest of the band's going, because with John, telling him no was like telling a Marine drill sergeant saying, give me 100 push-ups, and you go, I'm not in the mood. So I realize now that I'm a fight or fight guy. You know that phrase, fight or flight? Either stay to fight or run. I was all fight. There was just no way. I was embarrassed. I was humiliated. There was no way I was going home. I'd rather fly to Mars, you know. So I was sitting there trying to negotiate. I didn't have a plan. This was all coming from my heart.
Why he didn't want you to play on the record? Did he give you a motivation?
I understand now. Back then, I mean, I played with Leonard Bernstein and Aaron Copland. I thought, wow, man, that's harder than this. But I was not an expert of getting a song on the radio to be #1. I didn't understand how to serve the song. I didn't even think about it. I was young, so it was serve me. It was all about me. To be a great session drummer, or a band player, or a team player, for anything, you have to serve the team. So I realized that later on, and they needed me to have ideas that would make songs get on the radio, and tune drums and play parts. I didn't have that experience. And that was the beginning. You know, I think the thing that made him, I said, I'm not going to go home, but I'm going to go, am I still the drummer in your band? He was like, wondering what's going on here. I mean, I could have been fired. That could have been it. And I think I would have made it somewhere else because I'm so intense.
Focused, yeah.
Yeah, but that was a very important time. That was a very important time because John was just about to make it as a new artist, and I was part of that. It wasn't like joining Elton John, it's already happened. I was part of the beginning, and the drums were so big, I made a name for myself. And so anyway, I said, I'm gonna go to the studio and I'm gonna watch those drummers play my parts, and I'm gonna learn from them, and I'll benefit from that. And you'll benefit because I'm your drummer. And I think the thing that sealed the deal is I said, you don't have to pay me. I'll sleep on the floor. I think,
wow.
Perfect. I can keep this guy here, I can make fun of him, and it won't cost me anything. And that was the beginning of me learning, you know.
Is that a matter of tenacity, you know, toughness and patience? I mean, what's the trick to become, you know, one of the best drummers and most requested one?
Well, to be the best at anything, it is tenacity, it is obligation to do a great job, duty, service. I have the right personality. I can make myself work hard, and a lot of it, I'll have to say, when I was younger, was fear-based. I was afraid to fail. I didn't see any alternative. I wasn't the best drummer. Everywhere I was, people were better than me, and it was an uncomfortable feeling. So the only way I could compete was to practice longer and harder and never say no to any gig. It's like if you're a rock drummer, I would play jazz, I'd play classical, I'd play country. I didn't care what it was. First of all, drumming was fun, but I just felt like the only way to be great is to work harder and longer than anybody else. And I'm still doing that. I'm trying to retool my program, a new method, which is I always said yes to everything. As a matter of fact, I'm supposed to be with John Fogerty tonight playing, but I'm here because I said yes to everything. So and sometimes I have the double book, but you have to be willing. We're not born successful, and there's no magic pill. You have to make your success. And the people that are lazy and entitled and waiting for it to happen, I'm going to come around and take what they're waiting for. Not in a mean way. If they're not taking it and I see it, I'm going to go after it. Nicely. I'm a nice guy, but you can't wait for things to come to you. You have to work hard and persevere. What do I have? A PPP. Prepare. You have to prepare to perform, and then you have to persist.
Okay.
Keep going. Or I have another thing called RPS. Repetition of any skill, R, is the preparation, P, for success. And the repetition of any skill. I couldn't do that if I didn't practice that. Repetition of any skill, like a golfer. baseball player, tennis player, weightlifting weights, diet, anything. Your repetition of any skill is the preparation for success. It's that simple. I have to practice every day to sound good on stage.
Every day?
Oh yeah, I have
even when you're on tour?
Oh, I do it in the car,
Okay.
I have 13 hand patterns and I do feet patterns, and these are the things I'm going to play on stage. So I practice exactly what I'm going to perform.
You have a very strong personality and very definite sound, but you've done so many different things.
Yeah.
How, can you have such, a definite style and meanwhile meeting, all the requests in different kind of music, different styles?
I just try real hard to serve the songs, serve the style. Obviously when I'm doing a Dr. John show, when we're a tribute to him, that's like New Orleans style. Then I do a Greg Allman tribute. When I do these tributes, I play with 20 famous artists, real big names, and when I did the Kennedy Center Honors, which was the Super Bowl of shows, the first segment was The Who. So I'm playing with Dave Grohl, Chris Cornell from Soundgarden, all these people, one after another. Then I have to go downstairs, get changed, because the next segment I'm going to play is George Jones, country. And I was telling Dave Grohl, watch how different I play. It's a different style. When you play like Keith Moon from The Who, I'm slamming the drum real hard and you're reckless and you're playing like you're fucked up and crazy. But with George Jones, you don't hit hard, hi-hat is soft, bass drum beater comes off the head, you're just keeping time for everybody. Different technique, different style. And so when I go into a recording session, I try to fit in the best that I can, and I'm open to learning. Basically being paid to learn. I will, if I usually get the music ahead of time, I will practice technique, that is purposeful for that session. And I do not assume anything. The biggest thing about being great is to recognize when a problem occurs. Identify it first before anybody else, and then fix it before anybody says anything.
Yeah.
That means you have to be very strong and humble. You have to be courageous, fearless, tough, but humble and honest.
Did you ever miss to have a stable band during your career? I mean, with John Mellencamp, that was your band.
I did that.
But after, your career developed in different ways.
I had different bands. I was with Joe Cocker on and off for 10 years. John Fogerty, I've been with him for 25 years.
Yeah.
I went to the Smashing Pumpkins for a year, but then I came back, and then I was on tour with Melissa Etheridge on and off for 10 years. I guess people look at me as I'm in the Fogerty band now, but I like to look at myself as I don't belong to anybody.
All right.
I belong to me.
Accept yourself,
Yeah.
okay. Among all the records you've done, is there anyone in particular that you feel you gave really the best, and when you listen back to it, say, wow, how amazing was that?
The only thing I can look back and think I was amazing on, and it's only because it was a little bit, I was playing out of my comfort zone. I was recording with the Buddy Rich Big Band. Buddy Rich was dead, one of the greatest drummers ever, and now I'm playing with his band because they made a tribute record. And I didn't want to play rock and roll because Buddy Rich's rock and roll was for shit. So I played a medium tempo song called Big Swing Face. But then Kathy Rich, his daughter, said, we really need someone to do Straight No Chaser. And I was like, because I wanted to do Straight No Chaser, but I didn't think I could do it. It is so fast. And I did it. And I didn't know this. You were only allowed to do 4 attempts. And it's a good thing I did Big Swing Face first. After 4 attempts, Neil Peart, the drummer for Rush, was the producer, says, come inside, Kenny. He says, I think we got it. I says, no, we don't have it. I need to go back and do it again. He says, no, but you can't. I went, why not? He says, you only get 4 attempts. why didn't you tell me that before? So now I'm doing straight no chaser. I'm like, I have 4 attempts, and I'm playing. You know, it's like, and I'm reading it. I don't have it memorized because I was doing recording sessions for 3 weeks all over the United States and Canada. I didn't have time to practice except at midnight or 1 at night, so I wrote everything out. I'm reading while I'm recording. Anyway, while I was playing, I was going like, man, this sounds amazing. And I'm like, I don't usually say that. I usually go like, you could do better. I mean, this is amazing. I'm like, I looked at my hands like, I'm not playing. Somebody else is. And then I went, Kenny, shut up. Don't get in the way of the guy who's playing, even though it was me. Like, don't fuck this up. So I just kind of like play, and I do a solo at the end. And usually, you know, you're recording and you've got the big band there and all these jazz drummers watching you. It's so easy to fuck up something, but I didn't. And I listened to the recording today and I go like, damn, it's pretty good for me being a rock drummer playing that. The spirit and the energy. Maybe a jazz drummer might look at it and go, you're playing the ride cymbal too hard, or you're playing something. But the energy and the attack, it was a full commitment from beginning to end. It was like, bah! Yeah. And stylistically, it was a little bit challenging. So that song, that recording sticks out the most to me.
Since you said that the most important thing is to serve the song, are you, do you write your parts, or usually when you compose, you go, you know, naturally and follow, you know, the music?
Because I learned how to read and write music, I'm kind of famous for my crazy, super crazy detailed charts.
And we love it.
The reason I do that, it took a long time, like 25 years, to be able to write and to read and make it sound like I'm not reading. Okay. I'll give you an example. So I go on, I'm doing session after session, and there used to be where there were budgets. You walk in the session, they play the song, I start writing, and then I listen again, I write again, I listen again, I write again, listen again, write again, now I'm ready to record. Bam, now I'm ready, I can do the whole song from beginning to end. Nowadays, there's no budget, so I get the songs before I go in the studio. I have everything written out. And what I do usually, I run through the song. Sometimes I don't even practice. I walk in, run through the song one time so they can get sounds right, and then I go, let's go. And I want bam, 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 one take after another.
Yeah.
And then usually after three takes, 4 takes, 5 takes, I've done it. And I pick the 3 takes. But I like to keep the energy and the flow going. Like, if at the end of the song, keep my energy there, so let's get going. Let's get going right away so I stay at peak value. Because that's the magic that you can get on a recording that nobody can program.
Right.
Nobody can program what I can do in 3.5 minutes or 4 minutes. Take all week to do that. And I'm being spontaneous. Now here's the part that you'll like. So I got everything written out, but I'm listening. And if at any moment I'm playing with other musicians, I hear something, I will not follow the chart, I'll respond to them.
Okay.
Or if I hear something, I think, nah, I got a better fill, or I just do whatever, I serve the song. So if something inspires me, I don't do what's on the chart, but then I come back to it. In the first take, I usually play exactly what I wrote on. Second take, I start to experiment more. Third take, I experiment more. Okay. Maybe the fourth take, I say, go a little bit crazy, and then they can choose what they like.
And with Supersonic Blues Machine, how was it? I mean, how did it take for you to record all your parts?
I did the first album I did in one day, 10 songs.
Wow.
I had everything written out. But Fab was in the control room. It's my studio. Mm-hmm. And he goes, dude, I think you got it. And I do 2 takes, 3 at the most. And then and we did. This album, I did 5 songs purposely. I wanted to stop. I wanted to hear those songs completed. And then we could decide what we need to make the album. So it didn't sound like the same thing over and over again. So that's the way I did this time. I think we did 5, and then we did the Billy Gibbons song and one other one.
So you started with John Mellencamp and you ended up with John Fogerty, two Johns, which are very strong personalities in rock and I guess also very demanding. How is it difficult to work with such, guys like them? And how can you, make your personality?
Wow. Well, I'm not going to tell you the truth. I can tell you what. Okay, that's a great question. How do you work with difficult people? And
was that the best school of rock for you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the two different times. Working with John, I was younger, and John was an intense guy. Tough, and like a football coach or something. And he demanded the most out of you, and there was no hand holding or love. It was just like, you produce. He said, listen, I write these songs. They all sound the same. You guys have to come up with great parts to make these hits. And Kenny, if somebody else has a better idea on the drums than you, you got to play it. The same with all you guys. You don't own your instruments. We're trying to make hit records. It's like,
wow.
But then I realized now he was right. I mean, he was kind of not nice about it. He was kind of an asshole about it, but he was right though. The message is right. It's, we got to make hit records. Now, so I would put up with, all kinds of different things back then because I was new. Now that I'm Kenny Aronoff, 300 million records sold later, 1,300 gold, platinum, diamond records, and blah, 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 on and on, I'm still in that guy where I understand my position. If a 16-year-old kid hires me to play on the record, I'm very nice to them. I don't go, do you know what I've done, kid? I don't ever say that. I try to make friends with them and try to be an equal with them.
Okay.
But if somebody starts to fuck with me, then I start thinking, wait a minute, do I need to be here? Because I really don't.
Okay.
That's the shift. It's like, but I never, well, I rarely have ever, pointed something out to a boss in front of anybody. And I try not to have that confrontation because I don't like it. But I'll do things that will announce, like, if we're doing a sound check with somebody, I won't mention who, and they're starting to say, it's not the criticism, the way they talk to me, I'll take my earphones off, get and walk right to the front of the stage and say, listen, this is what I'm trying to do. It's obvious that I'm in front of them, meaning like, you should be a little bit cooler with me.
Okay.
It's tough, it's a challenge. It's tough because I work with some, some really wacky people. The good thing is when you're in the studio, it's going to be over pretty soon. So I just try to do the best I can so I serve myself and make sure I sound great, do the thing, and then move on.
Last question. I imagine you to be very versatile also as a listener. Which is your guilty pleasure on your iPod?
Oh, which on my iPad?
Something that we cannot, imagine you would listen to.
Sibelius, Fifth Symphony.
Okay.
Yep, it's just, I performed it with Leonard Bernstein. It's one of the most beautiful pieces. It was hard for me not to cry when I was performing. It's so beautiful. Sibelius, Fifth Symphony.
Thanks, Kenny, for your time.
Yeah.
See you next time.
All right, awesome.
Ciao.